Many people often ask me, Candace, once I'm healed, will I still attract a narcissist? This is a loaded question, but there is actually a simple answer. Watch this video. So a lot of unhealed empaths, or what I call codependents, people who are highly sensitive, who don't have the boundaries they need or haven't had the emotional mirroring enough to integrate self-love. So you look outside of yourself for love, or you have what I would call relationship addiction, love addiction, where you're looking for it outside of yourself because you never got it from the place you needed, one or both parents. So you never learn how to really facilitate your own self-love. You become codependent, a pleaser. You become someone that lives to make others love you or feel happy or good. That's kind of what your identity becomes because that's how you're getting your need met. It's a coping mechanism. So people who fall into this category oftentimes attract a narcissistic type person, someone who is more selfish, someone who seems very confident and gives you that rush of, oh my gosh, that thing that I don't have, they have, and they love me, so I must be enough kind of feeling. But it never, ever, ever ends up that way because a narcissistic personality type is someone who is getting their supply from you, getting what they need from you, getting that love that they don't have for themselves from you. And eventually the codependent type person gets really drained to the point where they lose themselves in the relationship. The narcissistic person will never notice that and stop. They will keep going. And if you end up becoming drained, they will trade you out for another supply or look outside of themselves in another way. And so I was talking about this in my monthly membership this morning. One of my clients said, will I stop attracting these narcissists when I'm healed? Is that how I know that I'm healed? And my answer is absolutely not. The difference is you will learn two things. Discernment, where you'll notice, wow, this doesn't feel healthy. I notice what this is now. I'm learning what narcissists look like or narcissistic traits look like. You will also start to, as you feel it, to heal it, get real about how you feel so you can heal. You will start to reconnect with your inner guidance, your emotional guidance system, and you'll start to feel when something feels toxic or anxious or wrong, and you will trust it, and you'll have the boundary that most codependents don't have and need to work on. You'll have a boundary to live in alignment with your guidance instead of connecting to those outside of you instead. Oftentimes, codependent people will give up their own connection to self and inner guidance to line up with others. And the reason that this happens is because when we're children, and say, let's give an example, maybe you had a narcissistic parent, or you're just born into a narcissistic society like most of us, you learn to not trust what you feel, but to instead line up with the person that's going to care for you and what they need. And so you disconnect unknowingly from your own guidance and what you need, and this creates an inner dynamic that's really painful a lot of the time. Some people deny that, and they just allow that, and they just become professional people pleasers, and they line up with whoever it is that they're with, and over time, feel drained and exhausted, especially energetically and physically. Symptoms start coming up. But also, the road back home to self is re-self-partnering, meaning I get in touch with what I feel after I understand what these traits are in these people and what's happened to me in my experience. I can then start to tune back into those inner cues that tell me, ooh, discernment, not a healthy person, doesn't feel right, doesn't really align with me. But so often we're afraid to do that because we feel guilt when we don't align with a parent. We feel guilt when we don't align with a system. We feel guilt when we don't align externally. And what's so interesting about this work is there is only one way to heal this relationship dynamic, and it's about learning to align with you. Learning to align with how you feel by getting real with how you feel and understanding those negative emotions that you have are not the meaning that you've attached to them. Negative emotion comes up when your idea about yourself is not agreed upon by the universe. I'm going to be teaching all about this in my new course, Emotional Rehab, that we'll be launching probably in the next week. Very exciting. Until then, I just want to encourage you guys. Will I stop attracting narcissists once I healed? No. Will I have the discernment to know the difference? Yes. Have a good week.